Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi SUKKAH Memhei. We begin at the Mishnah, which is 4 lines from the top of the Amud. We spoke about the mitzvah of Arava. Now, how exactly was this fulfilled? It says the Mishnah, mitzvah Arava Ketzad. How did they go about doing the mitzvah of the Arava in the Beis Hamikdash? Makom Hayilamatam Yerushalayim. There was this place down the mountain from Yerushalayim, which was a swampy area full of water, which was conducive to the growth of Aravos. V'nikra Moitza. That was the name of the place, Moitza. It's still there today on the bottom of the mountain, right at the entrance to Yerushalayim. There's a town called Moitza. So that's where they got the Aravos from. Yerdin L'Sham, they would go down to there. Umalaktin Misham, they would pick from there. Murbiyos Shel Arava, these long, beautiful Arava branches. Uboin v'zoik fin oison bitzidi hamizbeach. And then they would go ahead and put them around the mizbeach, place them on the floor, encircling the mizbeach. Tosfos points out that according to the shita that Arava also had netila. So first netila took place. The Kahana would actually take hold of the Aravos, shake them, walk them around the mizbeach, and then plant them beside the mizbeach. V'roshein kfufin al gabi hamizbeach. They were so tall, despite the fact that the mizbeach was 9 amma from floor to the top. These Aravos were even higher, and they would bend over on the gab, on the top of the mizbeach. Toku v'riu v'toku. Tosfos says, as an expression of simcha, they would blow the shofar, tkiya, trua, tkiya. B'chol yom, typically, mekifin es hamizbeach pam achas. On a regular day of Sukkot, meaning other than the 7th day, they would make a single hakafa around the mizbeach, holding these Aravos. And they would say, Ona Hashem Hashiana, Ona Hashem Atzlichana. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, instead of Ona Hashem Hashiana, it was Ani V'hu Hashiana. And Tosfos brings a few pshatim why he would say it this way. Firstly, Ani V'hu is actually b'gematria Ona Hashem. Right? It's the same numerical value. Ana Hashem is Aleph Nun Aleph, and Hashem is Yud Kei Vav Kei. Instead, we have Ani V'hu. Works out to the same number. He brings another pshat that we want to incorporate Hashem, so to speak, in our hardship. As the pasuk says, Imoy Anoichi B'tzar, Hashem participate in the tzar of Klal Yisrael. So it's a bakasha for ourselves, and also Hashem Ani V'hu Hashiana. Hashem brings salvation for us and for you together as one. This was on your typical day of Sukkot. One time around the Mizbeach with these tefillos. But on that day, the 7th day of Sukkot, what we call Hoshana Rabbah, they did a more elaborate Arava procedure. They would actually make 7 rounds, 7 hakafas around the Mizbeach. B'shas petirasan. Now, when they were done and they're bidding farewell, they're taking leave of the mizbeach after a whole sukkahs and all the karbanos. Mahin oimrim. What would they say to the mizbeach? Yoifi, this beauty, this adornment that we're doing for you, placing these Aravos around you. Yoifi lecha mizbeach. It's for you, mizbeach, as a sign of appreciation for all that you've done for us. You've helped us with the karbanos. Yoifi lach mizbeach. Rav Lezer Omer, slightly different. Leka, we acknowledge that Hashem is our Hashem, we're loyal to Him, we're committed to Him. Ulecha mizbeach, and this shavach, this praise, is for you, mizbeach. Leka ulecha mizbeach. Kimaseu b'chol, the same procedure that took place during the weekday, the days of Sukkot, which were weekday days, not Shabbos. The same way they would do it on Shabbos. Kach maseu b'Shabbos. With one minor difference. They would have to prepare the Aravos before Shabbos. They couldn't pick it on Shabbos itself. They would actually pick the Aravos Me'erev from before Shabbos. And they would place them in these golden vessels full of water. They wouldn't wilt. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler has a different version of events. He says that instead of Aravos, they would use palm branches. Charaya shel dekel. They would take these palm branches and thrash them on the floor at the side of the Mizbeach. On the seventh day, which was a special day, that was a more elaborate procedure. It was called the day of banging the acharoyos. According to Rashi, actually, chibut, Rashi said meant nianua, shaking them. This was regarding the arabis back on Gimel Beis. But in this Mishnah, it's mashma, the word chibut is referring to thrashing on the ground. In fact, the Rambam learns that's the way you meant to handle the arabis, thrash them on the ground, the way you do today. We take them, we walk around the bima, plus we bang it on the floor. The Ramah says we're meant to do both, we mekayim both shittas. Okay, now we're done with the mitzvah of lulav and esrog, mitzvah zarava. Miyatinoikos, the adults would grab away from the hands of the children. Miyatinoikos shomtienes lulavein, they would snatch away the lovim from the hands of the children. Va'oichan esrogin, and eat their esrogim. How does that work? Says Rashi, 2 lines from the top. So they went down to this town called Moitza. The Gemara in Farish Tama, Gemara gives the reason why it was called Moitza, which sounds like an exception, out. And they would say Anivahu. So Rashi gets into a whole discussion of Kabbalah, of the Shemus of Hashem. So we'll go through it quickly. Begematria on Hashem. So firstly, Anivahu is Begematria on Hashem, as we mentioned. Void. Another reason for saying Anivahu, it had deeper meaning here. Meshivim u'shtayim shemosin. It's from the 72 shemos of Hashem, hanukuvim b'sholish mikrois, which are hinted, are spelled out in the 3 psukim hasmuchin, 3 psukim which are situated in close proximity to each other, with parshas v'beshalach in Beshalach. Vayisa. Vayavoy Beimachne, Vayet Moshe es Yodei. So you have one pasuk which begins Vayisa, one pasuk Vayavoy, one pasuk Vayet. Ushloshtan ben Shiv Mushtam Yeshis. Each one of these psukim contains 72 letters. Umehen Shema Mefarish. If you know how to work this out, you figure out the Shema Mefarish, that grand name of Hashem, all included in these psukim. How is it? So you have 3 psukim. Now, Ois Rishona Shal Pasuk Rishon. Take the first letter of the first pasuk, v'achroina shalem tzoyin, the last letter of the middle pasuk, v'rishena shal achron, the first letter of the last pasuk. So it's first, last, and first. V'chein b'seh ha'deitz, v'chein b'seh ha'seder kulam, and follow this example all throughout. Meaning first, last, and first, second to last, second, and first, and so on. Hashem Rishon v'hu, you'll come up with the first shem, which is vav he vav. How's that? First letter of the first pasuk is a vav, vayisa, vav shel vayisa. Then the last letter of the middle pasuk, hey, d'chol halayla. Then back to the first letter of the last pasuk, vav de vayet. So you have vav hey vav, that's vahu, and that's why we say ani vahu. Vahu is referring to one of the shemas of Hashem, and the word ani as well is one of Hashem's names. The v'shem hashleishim b'sheva, the 37th in the sequence, is going to be ani. How? You take the aleph from the word machreim, which is found in the first pasuk, take out the aleph. V'nun rishon de ha'anan, and the first nun of the word ha'anan, which is found in the middle pasuk, b'cheshbon shemafreya, basically you're going 37 letters back now. 37th letter of the first pasuk, 37th of the last from that middle pasuk, and then again to the third pasuk, and pick the 37th letter from the beginning, v'yud d'rach kodem, the 37th is a yud. That's how you get to ani. So the word ani and the word vahu are actually one of the from the shemos of Hashem that are found in this pasuk. That's the deeper meaning behind this expression. So typically it was this way, but on the 7th day, that was a special day, they would do 7 hakafos and bid the Mizbeach farewell. This was during the weekday, but on Shabbos they would prepare the arabas in advance and place them in gigyos, kun shel zov mleis, mayim, vessels full of water. Rabbi Yehuda says, Chorei shel dekloi mevin. Bein b'choyba m'Shabbos, they would use palm branches. Ugmar and Farish Taima, why does he prefer branches? Charoyes are anofim, branches. Now, after they were done on the 7th, there's no longer a kiyum of mitzvahs lulav, so now they could snatch away the estroigim, miyat, noikes, Shemten es loveim hagdolim, the adults. Shemten es lovei aktanim miyodam ashvi. On the 7th day of SUKKAH, after the kiyum of mitzvah slub, the adults will take the liberty to snatch away the children's sets. Va'oichan esrogim shall tinoikes would actually eat their esrogim. How can they do that? Ve'ein b'davar lo mishum gezel. We're not concerned about stealing. V'lo mishum da'kei shalom, create animosity, machlokes. Says Rashi, SUKKAH nohagu machma simcha. This was common. This was the accepted practice as an expression of joy, of simcha, and it was allowed in this case. Continues the Gemara. So we spoke about the aravas being found in the town of Moitza. Tana, we learned in the Brayso, Mokim Kalanya Hava. It was a free enterprise zone. In that town of Moitza, you wouldn't pay any taxes, perhaps because it was not really an attractive place to do business. Swampy, full of water, it grew aravas. So the king gave a discount. You live in that place, no taxes. V'tana dedan my taima korele Moitza. Why does our Tana refer to it as Moitza? For that very reason. I did the mepak mikarg de malka, since it was exempt from the king's taxes. Korele Moitza, that's how it got its name, Moitza. Moitza means out, exempted from taxes. What did they do with those tall aravas? Uboyin v'zoik von oisnem b'tzida mizbeach. They would position them on the floor around the mizbeach. Tana learned in the Brayso. Rabbis, there were many. Some of the rakas, they were soft and pliable. Va'arucha is very long. Ugvoyes achad asar amma. They were 11 amas high. What was the point of 11? Kadei sheyu goyches al mizbeach amma, so that they bend over an amma on the mizbeach. So you have the mizbeach, and the arava planted on the floor would now be so tall that it would actually bend over and lean an amma over the mizbeach. It didn't actually touch the mizbeach; it was just folded an amma and would hang somewhat in the air. Amma mereimar meshumar zutru. I want to point something out. Shema mina. From this brayso we can conclude that where did they put the arava? Not on the floor alongside the mizbeach, because it wouldn't be able to create that amma fold. It was too short for that. Shema mina ala yisoid monachlu. They would place it on the foundation of the mizbeach, which was an amma off the ground. Because if you're going to say that they would place it on the floor itself, it wouldn't reach. Michti, let's take a look. How was the mizbeach constructed? So the walls of the mizbeach appeared like steps. You start 32 amas wide, then it goes up vertically an amma, then comes in like a step. It comes in an amma, goes up 5, comes in 1, goes up 3, and then you have the top surface of the mizbeach. Allah amma v'konos amma zeu yisoy. An amma up, an amma in, that's the foundation. Allah chamish v'konos amma. It continues 5 amas vertically, and then comes in an amma horizontally. Zeu yisoy. That was the walkway upon which the kehanim would walk around the mizbeach. Allah shalish. It continues upward another 3 amma. Zeu makam akronis. That's where the corners of the mizbeach were situated. So now that we know top surface of the mizbeach, which featured those 4 corners around it, 4 kronis, was 9 tefachim off the ground. Right? It was 1 plus 5 plus 3. If you're going to place the arava on the floor, and they're only 11 amas high, keep in mind you have to account for the angle as well. It's slanted along those steps. So if it's on the floor and it has to be slanted, you're not going to have enough material to create that amma bend over the mizbeach. Right? If it's only 11 amas to begin with, and the mizbeach is 9 amas high, plus you have that angle to account for, you're going to come up short. How can you have the aravas bend down an amma on the mizbeach if they're going to be on the floor? It's not going to reach. It's pretty clear from here. Instead of on the floor, it's placed on the foundation, on the first step of the mizbeach. So it was an amma off the ground. So placing it an amma higher would give it that extra breathing space, which would allow it to be quite a bit above the mizbeach and allow it for that to give that fold, which would have that goychos al gabe mizbeach amma, would fold down an amma but still not touch the mizbeach. Shmamina, it's pretty clear that indeed that's what it was. Amar Rabbi Avo Maikra. What do we find in a pasuk? That indeed the Aravis would extend upward above the Mizbeach. Shenemar Isru Chag Ba'avoisim. Rashi learns Isru means be makiv, surround the Mizbeach on Chag Ba'avoisim with these branches, with these trees, and the karnas of Mizbeach which reach upward until the corners of the Mizbeach. Amar Ravo, Amar Belaz. Kol hanoitel lulav beigudei v'hadas ba'avosai. If one is mekayim the mitzvah lulav properly, he takes the lulav bundle with the braided hadasim, ma'ala olav akasav, the Torah regards him ki'ilu bana mizbeach, v'yikrev olav carbon, as though he built a mizbeach and was makar a carbon, shenama isru chag ba'avosim. If you go ahead and you take this bundle, this bundle of the lulav with the avoisim, with the braided hadasim within it, ad karnas hamizbeach, the Torah regards it as though you brought a carbon matan damim on the karnas of the mizbeach. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Rabbi Yechanan said it mishum Rabbi Shimon Machosi, in the name of mishum Rabbi Yechanan Hamakut. One who presents a bundle of eating and drinking, meaning he conducts himself with simchas yomtiv on the chag, ma'ala olav akasav, ki'ilu bana mizbeach, v'yikrev olav carbon. The pasuk considers it as though he was makar built a mizbeach and makar carbon. You eat l'shem shamayim to mesamech yourself on yomtiv. It's as though you makar carbon. You took that food material and you elevated it, you spiritualized it like hakrovas of a carbon. Shenamar isru chag ba'avoisim. You tie up this bundle of avoisim. Actually, learns avoisim are the plump behemoths. So you're having the simchas yontiv properly on chag. That is regarded ad karnas hamizbeach, as though you makar a mizbeach, built a mizbeach and makar a carbon. Amar Cheskia, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, mishum Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. So this is another statement from the same under Amar. Kol mitzvah is kulan. Whenever you fulfill a mitzvah, it has to be in the right way. It has to be positioned in the right direction. Ein adam yoytzi bahen ela derech dei lassen. You can only be yoytzi with a mitzvah if you position it the way it naturally grows. For instance, the lulav has to be held upright, the way it grows on a tree. The esrog has to be held vertically. A tip up, stem down. Derech dei lassen, the way it grows. Although the esrog actually bends downward because of its weight, but when it begins to bud, it's heading upward. So that's derech dei lassen. That's the only way to be mekayim the mitzvah. In fact, remember we had the Gemara earlier on Mem Beis, where the Gemara says you're not yoytze if you mahapech, if you turn it upside down. That's the way many people take the lulav today. They pick it up, the esrog upside down, make the bracha, and then tip it back upright to be mekayim the mitzvah. And likewise, when it came to the mishkan, the krushim, the boards situated around the mishkan had to be positioned in the same angle as they grew on the trees. So instead of cutting your boards sideways, instead of cutting the trees sideways, in which case the boards will have to be positioned not in their natural angle, you meant to cut boards off the tree vertically. This way, when you position it around the mishkan vertically, it's going to be derech dei lassen. Shenemar atzei shitim oyimdim. Oyimdim teaches us it has to be in the same manner in which they grow. Tanam Yachi, of a raya from a brisa, ate shitim oyimdim, she'oimdim derech dei lassen. You position them around the mishkan the way they grow. Davar achar, another pshat in oyimdim, shema'amidin es sipuyan. They weren't plated with gold, they weren't painted, they were actually plated. They were plates of gold, which were tacked on to the wood, and the wood would support the plating. Shema'amidin es sipuyan. They would support their plating. So that's atzei shitim oyimdim. Davar achar, another pshat in oyimdim, they're eternal. Even the Mishkan, which was put away when they built the Beis HaMikdash, will still have some use. L'asad love, it's still going to serve a function. Shema toimar, perhaps you'll say, Avad sivram there. Hope was lost. Ubatal sakuyan. And there's no longer anticipation for their return. Tamaloimar ate shitim oyimdim. They're forever, they're eternal. Sha'imdim la'olam ula'ol me'alam. And the Farshim say, even when the third Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt, Meher Yameinu, the Mishkan will return and will serve in some capacity. V'amar Chizkiya, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Amar Shimon Rechai. We have another statement from the same Adamar. Shimon Rechai says, Yochel ani lifter es kol ilm kulei. I recognize that I stand very high, Baruch Hashem, high madrega, and in my schus, I can exempt the entire world. I can protect the entire world min adin. Although they do many misdeeds, I can protect the world from destruction. The Rechananel says, he learned this from Avram Avinu, who implored Hashem to save Sodom on account of a schus of a tzaddik. So we see that a tzaddik has that ability to protect his surroundings, protect the world from calamity. Reb Shimon Rechai recognizes madrega, and he says, I have the ability to protect the world min hadin, miyom shenevresi ad ata. I can protect the world from anything that went wrong, anything that transpired from the day that I was born until now. Rabbi Hananel says, when he was in the Ma'ara, in the cave for 13 years, they showed him Maris Elakim, and he recognized his greatness. So he wasn't trying to be boastful, he was just sort of davening to Hashem, in my schus, I want to be civil, I want to protect the world. Vilmale Eliezer, or Elazar B'ni, and if you add my son Elazar into the equation, Imi, with me, Miyoim, we could protect the world together, we can have a much greater effect. Miyoim shenivra olam ad achshav, anything that transpired from day one of creation until today. So it was compounded. Two is way more than one. It's more than the sum total of the two. It's a compounded tzchus, and can afford a greater measure of protection from day one until now. If you add Yosam, who was one of the kings in Israel, and he was a great tzaddik, if you add him into the picture, we can protect the world from calamity and neutralize anything that went wrong from day one of creation until the end of days. But apparently, Farshim pointed out that Hashem did not accept that, so to speak. Hashem wanted there should be din in the world, and this bakasha, so to speak, was not accepted. But theoretically, these tzaddikim stood so high that they had the ability to be mazak of the world and protect from anything, any einish. Chananel's mashma is not protecting from einish, but protecting from destruction, like there shouldn't be any clear, he said, like the marble, these type of things. So perhaps it did take effect, according to Chananel, it did take effect, that their schus did affect the world somewhat and afford some measure of protection. There shouldn't be absolute destruction due to Averis. V'amar Chizkiya, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, once again, Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Re'isi b'nei aliyah ve'hin mu'atan. Let's go over to Rashi, off to the left. Re'isi b'nei aliyah, says Rashi, ve'hin mu'atan. Roya ani. I see. Lefi ma'aseh abriyos. I take a look at people and I say, wow. Shebnei aliyah, which means kata mekablim pnei shchina mu'atim hem. There are so few individuals who are worthy of a mekabel pnei shchina, but being zeicha, to recognize and to sort of see the shchina. Real tzaddikim are so few, so scarce. I'm not sure how many there are, says the Gemara. Im elafein. This is Rabbi Shimon Rechai speaking. I know there are very few minei aliyah, but how many? I'm not sure. Im elafein. Suppose there are 1,000 throughout all the daras. Ani ubni mihen. I'm sure that myself and my son are counted amongst them. Im meyahem. If there are only 100 in total, even then, ani ubni mihen. I'm sure that in those 100, myself and my son will be included. Im shnayim. If there are only 2 bnei aliyah, ani ubni mihen. I'm sure it's me and my son. Ani ubni hein. We are those two. So he's trying to inspire the Olam to achieve great heights, not to suffice with mediocrity. Go for the best. Go to be a ben aliyah, to be a mekabel pnei shchina, and follow our example. Umizutri kuliyai, says the Gemara. Is that so? There are so few bnei aliyah. He's not sure. 1,000, 100, maybe 2. There are many more. We know that as a fact. V'amar Rava tamni sri alfi. There are 18,000. Dora hava the kamei. Dora means a row. 18,000 tzaddikim occupy that row. Hava the kamei kuchabrichu before Hashem. Shenamar Saviv Shmoina Asar Elef. Surrounding Hashem, there are 18,000. So it's way more. Like Kasha, the answer is, well, it depends on what level you're speaking. From Madregas. He was speaking at the highest level. Ha de mistakli. He was referring to the tzaddikim who can peer, who can view Hashem's vision, so to speak, bispaklaria hamir. Rashi says ispaklaria is a mechitza, some sort of barrier. Actually, I think mispaklaria literally means a mirror. So a tzaddik and navi views Hashem, so to speak, but only by way of reflection. It says, you can't have direct view. Hashem chas v'shalom. It's a vision, it's a comprehension, it's an intellectual appreciation. So ispaklaria me'ira means a clear vision. Not a blurred vision, a direct clear vision, clear connection. That's a high madrega. And on that level we have very few tzaddikim. Is it 1,000, 100, 2? We're not sure. The pasuk which speaks about 18,000 is referring to a lower level of tzaddikim, who are mekabel pnei shechina, but on a lower level. The greater numbers referring to tzaddikim who are delay mistakli, don't peer bispaklaya me'ira into this crystal clear vision. Says the Gemara, but still doesn't work. Udemistakli bispaklaya me'ira. Those tzaddikim which have a clear vision of Hashchina, mizutri kulihaya, are they so few? 200, 1,000? Abaye tells us, alma. In the world, at any given time, you'll have no less than mitlasan v'shita tzaddikim, and 36 tzaddikim on the highest level, the mekabel shechina, who receive the shechina b'chol yom, every day, meaning whenever, wherever, the world contains at least 36 great tzaddikim. Shenemar ashrei kol choichei loy. Lucky are those who await loy, and loy is referring to the group of great tzaddikim. Loy b'gematria. What is the value, the numerical value of loy? Tlasam v'shita with 36. That's where we get the concept of 36 hidden tzaddikim. It doesn't say it has to be hidden. It could be known tzaddikim, according to our Gemara. But I guess if you don't really know them, they must be hidden. The point is that we're guaranteed to have 36, whether we see them or not. Either revealed or hidden, they're going to be 36 great tzaddikim. And that's every dur. So if you put together all the generations, about roughly 2,000 tzaddikim. Second of Shimon Rechai, be unsure as to the number. 200, 1,000, way more. The Gemara is assuming that the 36 are pretty much on the highest level. They have a clear vision of the godly, the aura, the shechina, ape shechina. So why wasn't he sure how many we have? Says the Gemara, we have still to be mechalek between the levels. The answer is Hoda Aili bebar. Bar means b'rishus. You have to get authorization to enter, to connect to Hashem on the highest level. So when we speak about the 36 tzaddikim, for a total of way more than just 200 or 1,000 throughout all the dairies. True, they're high tzaddikim, they're great tzaddikim, but they have to ask permission before they enter, so to speak, Hashem's domain. Whereas Reb Shimon Yechai was referring to a greater level. The Aili B'loi Bar, those tzaddikim who can enter without permission, they have direct access to the Shechina. And regarding those, he was saying, well, I'm not sure if it's 200 or maybe 1,000. So there are 3 levels of tzaddikim. Who makal pnei shechina. We have the 18,000, but that's a blurred vision. Bispaklaria she'ena meira. We have the 36 bechol yom. Apparently, the Gemara assumes they have a clear vision, but it's with permission. Whereas Rabbi Chai was speaking up Bnei Aliyah, who live up there. That's their home territory, the Shechina. They Aili b'loi bar without permission. B'shas p'tiros and ma'in oimrim. They leave the Mizbeach, they praise the Mizbeach. According to Belezer, they say, L'ka, L'cha Mizbeach. So they make reference to Hashem and the Mizbeach, the same expression. How can you do that? How can you combine Hashem with something else? Can't put them on the same level. With Tanya, we learned in the Bryce. If a person does that, he gets uprooted from the world. You're sort of downgrading Kaviyachal Hashem by putting him together on equal footing with something else. You bring a carbon strictly for Hashem. You can't combine Hashem with something else. Hashem is in a realm of his own Kaviyach. So how could they do that here? L'ka Mizbeach. Hachi Ka'amar, this is what they meant to tell the Mizbeach. Sorry, Hachi Ka'amar, this is what the Mishnah means. L'ka, that's number one. Anachnu Moed. To Hashem, we are Moed. That He's our Hashem. He's the source of our existence. We're committed to Him, completely loyal to Hashem. That's number one. And then they switched gears. And to you, Mizbeach, we praise. L'ka anachnu moedim. L'ka to you, Mizbeach, anu mikals, another expression of praise and thanks for helping us serve Hashem. So we're not putting Hashem and the Mizbeach on the same footing. Hashem is our Hashem. We acknowledge His existence. We commit ourselves to serve Him. And to you, Mizbeach, thank you for helping us all throughout Yom Tov in our service of Hashem. The Mishnah continues, according to Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, they would use palm branches instead of arabis. Amar Afuna, my time, Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. How does he get the palm branches? Tachsiv. Kapois tomorrow. Kapois is lashon rabim. 2. Shnayim achas lulav. 1 for mitzvahs lulav. V'achas lemizbeach. 1 to be placed around the mizbeach. Rabban Amri kapas ksiv. Rabban who maintained he meant to use the arava, not the lulav branch. Because the pasuk is spelled kapas, lashon yachid, 1 for the lulav, and that's it. So this is Rav Huna's pshat and Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Levi Eimer, he gives another pshat. Why according to Rabbi Yechanan Broika they would use palm branches? Ketamar was a svara, because it's part of the palm tree, which is very apropos. It symbolizes our relationship with Hashem. Ma tamar zeh, just as this palm tree, ein lo ela leiv echad, it only has one heart. Hearts of palms, it just goes right up the trunk, it doesn't branch off to the side. It has one single heart, which denotes commitment, loyalty. Af Yisrael ein lohem ela leiv echad. Labiyim shebashamayim, likewise Yisrael will take these branches, are expressing their loyalty. We only have one heart, one love, directed and committed to you, Hashem. That was the symbolism. By taking the palm branch, they would express this love to Hashem. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, lulav shiva. Now we're going to discuss the brachas. How often do we make a bracha on the lulav? How often on the sukkah? Says Shmuel, lulav shiva. Every day you take the lulav. Every day you make a bracha al netilas lulav. The sukkah yemechad. When it comes to sukkah, one time, beginning of Sukkot, that's it. Just once. Entire Yom Tov. My time and why? Very pashut. Lulav de mafsaki leilas miyam. Lulav is a daytime mitzvah. The nights break up the days, because nights are not zman mitzvah. So by lulav we have separate, independent entities. Each day is a separate mitzvah, a separate entity. Kol yoyma mitzvah b'apei nafshi. Who? That leaves every day as a separate mitzvah, which requires a separate bracha. As opposed to sukkah, the loy mifsiki leilas miyamim. Sukkah is an uninterrupted, continuous mitzvah. Right? It applies during daytime, during nighttime. So it's one continuous zman mitzvah. Kulu shiva. Listen to this lashon. All 7 days are kriya chichad yom arichadam. It's like one yom arichta. We have this lashon in Rosh Hashanah. 2 days are one yom arichta. Says the Gemara. When it comes to the bracha, we say, well, it's all one entity. It's one continuous fulfillment of that same mitzvah. It's one zman mitzvah. You make one bracha at the initiation, beginning of Sukkot. That covers the entire Yom Tov. So once again, according to Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, the bracha on lulav is daily. Bracha on Sukkah is once for the entire Yom Tov. The Rabbi Bar Chan Omar Rabbi Yechanan, he disagrees. Just the opposite. Sukkah Shiva. When it comes to mitzvah Sukkah, every time you enter the Sukkah, it's another bracha. V'lulav yom echad. As opposed to lulav, it's one bracha the first day and that's it. My time? Oh, what's his reason? Sukkah d'oraisa shiva. Mitzvah sukkah is a mitzvah d'oraisa, and therefore it deserves a bracha whenever you mekayim that mitzvah, all throughout the 7 days of sukkahs. As opposed to lulav, which is only d'rabbanan, right? When you're outside the mikdash, first day is d'oraisa, but afterwards only zeichel mikdash d'rabbanan. We don't make a bracha on mitzvah d'rabbanan. That's his shita. Sagli b'chad yoma. A bracha on the first day is sufficient, carries you throughout the entire yom. So according to Rabbi Rachana Rabbi Yehuda, it's just the opposite. It's the opposite of Shmuel. Shmuel said, we look at the Zman mitzvah. When it comes to lulav, every day is an independent Zman, an independent bracha. Sukkah is a continuous mitzvah. It's a 7-day mitzvah. One bracha for everything. Rabbi Rachana, named Rabbi Yehuda, says, all the way around. Let's look at the essence of the mitzvah, the quality. Sukkah's d'oraisa. Fine. Every yeshiva sukkah requires a bracha, but lulav, beyond the first day, is only the Rabbana, no bracha. Ravin had a different version of Rabbi Yehuda himself. It's irrelevant whether it's lulav or sukkah. You make a bracha and another bracha all throughout Yom Tov. So lulav will be a daily bracha, and sukkah, as Tosfos points out, of course sukkah has nothing to do with the day. He says every time you enter the sukkah to eat, drink, and sleep is a new bracha, even 10 times a day. The point is, as opposed to making one bracha for all 7 days, it's going to be a bracha all 7, but of course it's not once a day. And many times as you use the sukkah, you make a bracha. Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, what about the psak halacha when it comes to sukkah? Nekoit de Rabba bar chana biyotcha. Hold on, grab on to Rabbi bar chana's shita of Rabbi Yehuda, which was that you make a separate bracha every time you enter the sukkah, all throughout sukkahs. Why? How do I know that's the correct shita? Dekulu amiroi, because all the amiroim who quote Rabbi Yehuda kaimi kavosei b'sukkah, they follow Rabbi bar chana's version when it comes to sukkah. Meaning, we had two quotes, two versions of Rabbi Yehuda. We had Rabbi bar chana, we had Ravin. Now, although there was a slight difference between these two when it comes to lulav, but as pertaining to sukkah, they both follow the same shita, which is that you make a new bracha every time you use the sukkah all throughout the 7 days. And we can assume that is Rabbi Yehuda's shita, right? Because all are quoting him as such. And knowing that, we pass like Rabbi Yehuda because who's the one that opposed Rabbi Yehuda? Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, that sukkah only gets one bracha at the beginning of Yom Tov, and that's it. And Rashi brings, when there's machlokes between Shmuel and Rabbi Yehuda, we pass like Rabbi Yehuda. Therefore, says the Gemara, you meant to follow that halacha. Every time you enter the sukkah throughout Yom Tov, you make a separate bracha. So, conclusion: how many shitas do we have regarding the bracha of lulav and the bracha of sukkah? We have Shmuel. We have two versions of Rabbi Yehuda. Shmuel held the bracha on lulav is a daily bracha because we have those nights in between which separate the days, make them into separate entities. So each day, a separate bracha. As opposed to sukkah, which is one continuous chiv, yomim and leilos, there's no hafsaka. We deal with it like chad yom aricha, so one bracha in the beginning accounts for the entire yom tov. Rabbi bar Chana's version of Rabbi Yehuda was, switch it around, just the opposite. On lulav you make one bracha the first day where it's min haTorah, but then following the first day it's only the Rabbanan, doesn't require a bracha. You don't make a bracha mitzvah to Rabbanan, that's his shit. When it comes to sukkah, where it's a mitzvah d'oraisa all throughout Yom Tov, every time you use the sukkah, you make a new bracha. Ravin's version of Rabbi Yehuda was, in both lulav and sukkah, you're going to make a bracha and another bracha all throughout the days of Yom Tov. Okay, let's take a quick chazorah of today's daf. How they go about doing the mitzvahs arava. They would go down to Moitza, which was a place exempt from taxes, pick these beautiful branches of arava. On Erev Shabbos, they would have to do it before Shabbos and place it in the water. In any case, they took the aravas, walked around the Mizbeach, typically it was once, on Hoshana Rabbah 7 times. They would place them around the Mizbeach, position them on the floor, but not actually on the floor, rather on the yisoid to give it an extra lift, because they were only 11 amas tall. This way they would lean over, they would bend an amar over the mizbeach. According to Rabbi Yehuda and Broika, they would use palm branches. We had two reasons: either kapois, tmarim lashon ram, one for the lulav, one for the procedure around the mizbeach. According to the second shot, the palm tree symbolizes our absolute commitment, connection to Hashem, just as the dekel has leiv echad. We also have a leiv echad avinu shmashamayim. What was unique about the seventh day of Sukkah, which we call Hoshana Rabbah? They would make 7 hakafas around the mizbeach. They would say, well, this was typically Ana Hashem Hashiana, Ana Hashem Atzlichana, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Ani v'hu Hashiana. This was on a regular day as well. On the 7th day, they would say Yoifel Lecha Mizbeach, Yoifel Lecha Mizbeach. According to Rabbi Lezer, they would say Lekah, which the Gemara interprets to mean we are moida to Hashem, and then Ulecha Mizbeach, you Mizbeach deserve praise for helping us out, assisting us in the service of Hashem. And we discussed different types of tzaddikim, 18,000, who view Hashem's vision with a splaklaria she'ena mir, some sort of blurred vision. We have 36 tzaddikim constantly around who view Hashem's vision with a splaklaria meir, absolute clarity. But they still need to get rishus before they enter, before they access. Whereas Bnei Aliyah, referring to even a higher madreg of tzaddikim, who need no access. This is their home territory. Those are very few. We're not sure how many. In any case, we are certain that Shimon Yechai, as well as the son, are to be counted amongst them. And we learned an interesting concept that the tzaddik can actually protect the dur, just as we find by Avraham Avinu with Stein. Concluded with the halachis of bracha upon the lulav and the sukkah. And the Gemara concluded that when it comes to sukkah, we're meant to make a bracha every time you use a sukkah, because that seems to be the consensus. As per Rabbi Yochanan Shita, and we pass like Rabbi Yochanan in the machlekes with Shmuel. And indeed, we make a bracha every time we use a sukkah, as we do today. Kol tov to you, and Hatzlacha Rab.